Do you feel now, or how did you feel about the Afghans once Kabul fell back to the Taliban?
I think I did feel a bit, I felt sort of let down. That sounds strange, but yeah, let down because I do think, we did try to kind of. I think I probably felt a very strong connection to that country because I'd spent. I think in total I was back and forth, multiple times, and I think in total I probably spent about 2 years over there, or maybe more. So I felt and I'd done the language course, like I say, and so I think, yeah, I just felt a very strong connection to Afghanistan as a country. And then it's weird because I think from that point when the Taliban took over, it's almost like that connection has kind of gone. I felt like that was somewhere like, because I had thought that, one day maybe we'll go back and on holiday and sort of and go and visit places, because I thought, if you can return to the Afghanistan of the 1960s and where people could travel fairly freely, I thought maybe one day there'll be battlefield tours like like in Vietnam, where we could go back and see some of these places, and I did feel that kind of like almost like it would be a welcoming, like a familiar welcoming place in years to come, when I was older. And then I felt like that was just sort of cut away, and like it was somewhere I didn't feel any connection to anymore.
How do you feel that you might never be able to go back and see those places?
I don't know, it's strange because I don't, it doesn't bother me particularly that I can't go back. It's just I feel a little bit, almost feels a little bit like a betrayal, because it's sort of, it seems like, I know that there are huge numbers of people in Afghanistan that would still absolutely, that are suffering under the Taliban, and that would do anything to try and change it. But I just don't feel like there was enough, organised resistance to them, and it feels like a bit of a betrayal in that sense. That like we spent all that time trying to kind of help stabilize the country, and it just doesn't feel right that people maybe allowed it to happen. I'm not an expert. I don't, in terms of the political situation over there, so I can't, I can only speak from my own feelings really, that they must have sort of allowed it to happen in some way. So, yeah.
So if I come back to asking that question, whether you feel it was worth it, what's your answer to that?
Oh God, yeah, it's difficult because I think in some ways, yes, it was, because I think that if it's better to try to do the right thing, even if you end up failing, even if it doesn't work for whatever. It's still better to attempt, to do the right thing, and to, there was still a lot of people for that period of time that we were in Afghanistan, where Kabul did become particularly sort of stable and was very, it was, at one point, a very, a vibrant place where people could, where there was a lot of people getting educated, a lot of, girls getting educated and doing things they weren't able to do before. I think I still think it's worth it to try and do a good thing, even if it doesn't last for forever. Because you've just got to try, haven't you? So it's I wouldn't like, because I don't like the idea that it wasn't worth it at all, because that just sort of disregards any progress that was made, or any kind of any sort of any girl, for example, that managed to go to school and university during those years in Afghanistan, that's still a benefit. They've still got their education, whether they're allowed to use it or not, or whether they're yeah, there's still a lot of people that essentially benefited a lot from us being there. So I don't think it's complete waste. But yeah, I think there's definitely yeah, it's like that sort of, it's not the critic that counts sort of thing, isn't it? That kind of, that, you know, this, it doesn't, whether, you know, even if it's a complete failure, at least we tried and did everything that we possibly could. So yeah, I think it was worth it. In only a small amount, but yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Fall of Kabul, a soldier's story. For more episodes and in-depth exploration, visit us on YouTube and on podcast streaming platforms.